Hello, my name's Daniel Motless. I'm the product operations lead for Motorola Asia Pacific. I look after all the product introductions into the region along with my team, as well as all the carrier selling, RFI submissions, etc.
So you're more of a tech guy?
I am one of the tech guys, yes.
Okay. So we're going to have a little bit of a mix of business questions and technical questions, so we'll see how we go here. So there's a couple of things we've gathered from our internal team and some of our readers. So obviously, as most people might know now, Lenovo has taken over Motorola. So can you just get a vague overview of how does Lenovo affect the day-to-day business of Motorola in terms of handset, in terms of strategy, just so people have an idea where things are going?
So Motorola and Lenovo, yes, Lenovo has become part of the larger Motorola has become part of the larger Lenovo family. The biggest impact they've had onto our organisation is basically on the supply chain side.
Okay.
Their supply chain power and capability has given us a lot more leverage than what we had in the past, speed to market wise, cost efficiencies. But so far the portfolio has been standalone between the two products. There is no Lenovo offering in Australia at the moment, so Motorola is...
When you said efficiency, does that mean in terms of retail chains or supply of parts, or you mean more of the business, is it?
Yeah, supply of parts, acquisition, lead times, things like that.
So you've announced 3 products, two Halo, two high-end products, and obviously everyone's favourite, the G. And your flagship product has the 808 chipset. Can you explain why you went with the 808 and not the higher part, for example, 810, 820? There's some, Qualcomm has a very good portfolio to choose from.
Stability, speed to market, and to a consumer in a retail segment, it doesn't really mean that much to them.
So it's not, for example, you've determined that, say, for example, the trade-off going from heat and power from, say, an 820 doesn't really suit your product. It's more of you've chosen, okay, that's a more stable product from the roadmap and we're going to go with that rather than the bleeding edge, is it?
Correct. So, the consumer, Cat9 support, not really that relevant.
Is that shipping in Australian units, the advanced Cat support and the modem?
We will be supporting Cat6.
Out of the box?
Out of the box.
Great.
Yeah, no upgrade.
So, okay, for our readers who are not familiar, what's the speed of that? Because about 150 is like Cat4 or something like that.
Yeah, between 150 and 185, depends on,
So it's not a 2x, it goes a bit smaller than that, steps. So about 200.
But you can say that. Yes.
So going on from continue with the chipset, is Motorola tied to using Qualcomm? What about Intel chipset or Exynos? If you had the Razer I, that was something interesting from those who follow hardware. So it's Qualcomm now, is it?
We always shop around for different chipset vendors, and we engage with different chipset vendors, but we try and find one that meets the needs of all our marketplaces. Our parent company uses MTK, Lenovo, we use Qualcomm. At the moment, the current portfolio still has full Motorola Qualcomm chipsets.
Okay. But so you're going to go look at that each time you design a product. You're going to look at that. It's not design. We're going to go with mature chipsets, for example.
There's a portfolio team, and we have a scope when the product's scoped out. Okay. These are the requirements that we need to meet, and then they go find the best product or the best chipset that'll last.
Can you give our readers an understanding how you came up with the sizes? Because, for example, there's no 5-inch premium device. Either you have the 5.7 or you have a smaller one. Earlier, we had the presentation where we were talking about the actual screen, comparing screen sizes and usable real estate between phones rather than the actual form factor. So can you go over why we don't have a 5-inch? Because for some people, obviously, it's a subjective thing. 5.7 is really big for some people.
5-inch in the premium space?
Yeah. For example, the highest end processor in 5 inches. Because your competitors do that, but you've decided to go 5.7. So to some people, that's a phablet.
I can't really tell you why we've done that right now, other than we found that in the value
it's
tier...
more of a market thing. To summarise, it's more of a market thing. You've gone and looked at, and that's what we want to do. We want to go with that.
It's market subjective, and then we do a lot of research with customers, how the product feels in their hand. We do that with dummy models to start with.
Because you know about the thumb... That model, how the finger doesn't fit on the screen for some... I'm not sure what the actual model is called.
Well, that ergonomic, we call it the leaf design, where it's curved at the back, but it fits comfortably in your hand. And that basically, so you can actually rotate the device and lean in. Devices in the square edges make it far more difficult to do that. And then the phablet also doesn't allow you to do
that's something we haven't really appreciated. Because a curved back is not something new in the industry, but maybe some people, and I just said, no, we didn't realise that, and then something to, something to consider in the future rather than go, okay, that one's curved, that one's not. So, earlier we were talking about how Motorola is striving for the operating system to keep updates. Does Motorola have an operating system guarantee? For example, you get guaranteed different versions, like a number of updates, or is it just depends on how you see the updates coming from Google?
Well, there's a couple of factors that lean into it. One, when we ship the device, we obviously aim to always upgrade to the next version. Then once the next release is done, there are some devices, for example, we launched on Jelly Bean and are now on Lollipop. We've done 2 times the updates. Depending on the memory configuration and the memory footprint and the capability of the chipset that's in the device, if you can support it, we evaluate it, and it just comes on a market by market.
So you don't have some hard and fast rule, for example, HTC have some sort of policy where they go, okay, if there's a new version within 30 days, we'll ship that or something like that. You do best effort, basically. That's sort of the impression I'm getting from you.
We plan on being able to support the customer as best as possible, but it all comes down to technical capabilities and the amount of volume that you ship in various markets.
Okay, so on the older Moto X, you had a ring flash, and I don't think I can see that in any of these products.
Ring flash?
Ring flash. Or is that the Nexus only?
Which ring flash?
A ring flash in the rear camera.
Oh, the ring flash? No, the Moto X style's got a ring flash as well.
Okay, so just on the top model. Okay. So is there any announcements coming from Motorola regarding the maker support for APAC in terms of customizing the handset, or is that something to be announced in the future?
At this point in time, there will be some further announcements on what we're doing into Moto Maker.
Okay, so
there's no plan to launch it at this point in time.
So no plan at the moment, but is that something Motorola will be interested in bringing to the local?
We have been evaluating it for the last 18 months. But at this point in time, we're still not ready to launch it.
Okay. And for those, a lot of my readers and viewers are mostly budget conscious and obviously fans of the G. So, in a nutshell, obviously we've seen the tech specs. What can those people say they have a first Gen G or they have the first LT model? What they can expect in a nutshell if they want to upgrade now? What are the key points to focus on in terms of upgrade right now?
So moving forward, if they're moving from one of the older Moto G products to the new Moto G, is obviously a larger display, HD display, and larger battery.
Okay. The LTE support is frozen from the older.
No, the LTE support's there, and we've added a couple of extra bands as well. So now we have band 28, which we didn't have previously. On some of the products, we also support band 5, which wasn't on the previous products.
And that for Australia as the dual or single SIM?
We support both dual SIM and single SIM.
How does that work out in terms of what's available where, in terms of the modem and where people can buy different versions?
So the single SIM variants will be shipping with our operator partner, and the dual SIM variant will be in the retail channels as we ship with our previous versions.
Okay, thank you very much for talking to NitroWeb.net.